guys, how you doing? My name is Lena and welcome back to another video. So, because last month I read this stupid YA mystery novel, which I will not say its name because it was so dumb. So dumb! It kind of made me lose faith on YA a bit, but then I remember there are so many YA books that I actually really enjoy. So I'm just going to walk you through them because I grabbed like 20 something books. I'm going to divide this video and I'm going to show you just 10 right now, and the other part is going to come out the 10th of November. Probably. According to schedule, that's probably the date. I think this is mostly fantasy today. Almost all of it is fantasy, but yeah. And for those of you that don't know, I actually don't consume too much YA. I used to read like 40 YA, 60 adult, but lately it's just mostly like 20% YA probably. So yeah, it has to be like good for me to actually like it. But just let me show you the rest of the books. So the first one that I have here is Three Dark Crowns by Kendra Blake. I actually really love this quartet. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea because it's actually quite a slow story, but I loved it. I ate the 4 books in a week, 2 maybe, this year actually. I think that probably most people don't like it because it being really slow, but I did really like it. It helped me connect with the characters so much. It actually has like a kind of a slow burn plot. I don't think the series shines in this first book. I think that the more you read it, the more you like it. But overall, I enjoy them so much. I think that my favorite is probably the second or the third. One of those two. It had a pretty satisfying ending. It wasn't mind-blowing or anything like that, but it was good enough that I was just like, yeah, this is how it had to end. Kind of sad, but acceptable. I also really like one of the characters. I don't remember the name of the poisoner, but it was great. Basically, in Three Dark Crowns, we're set on the island of Thornburn. I think that's how you say it. Probably. We have these triplets and they basically have to fight to death to decide who's going to be the next queen in this island, basically. And we have like 3 different factions. We have the naturalists, I think they were. They are kind of connected with nature. They can talk to animals. They have animal companions. You have the poisoners. They are immune to poison and they are super cool. This is the greatest faction ever. And then we have the elementalists. They can control fire, water, air, you know. But yeah, it's super cool. I really like this one. The glare. Then we have The Demon King by Cinda Williams Chima. I think that you will be fine with any Chima book. They are fantastic. They have such good characters. I binge read this quartet in less than a month. I struggle a bit with the first book. I think that the plot doesn't show in the first book that much, but the sequel, The Exile Queen, was so good. So good. I read it in 2 days, then I grabbed the 3rd, then I grabbed the 4th. It was just like, why is it over? But it actually has a sequel series that's set a couple of years in the future, but I'm not having that great connection with those characters as I did with these ones. But still, it's super cool. I love it. This second book. The second book has a magical school setting. It's awesome. So in The Demon King, we mainly follow 2 characters. The first one is Han, he's a thief, and one day with his friend a dancer, they kind of stumble upon these mages and one of them drops this amulet and Han grabs it. It's basically a amulet that's connected to the Demon King, and that's when I'm going to leave it because so many things happen with that. And then we're also going to follow Reza. Reza? She is the princess of this kingdom. She just came back from this kind of retirement in the mountains, and now she has to get into this marriage, you know, royalty, YA, I mean. But it's great. I highly recommend this series. It's so good. Then, let's talk about Crown of Feathers by Nikki Valpredo. I love this series. I actually have it on my kind of favorite shelf. I loved it. I had like 0 expectations for this, but then I started seeing really, really positive reviews from people that I really trust. And I was just like, maybe I need to try this. And I'm so glad I did. I binge read the first and the second because they are so good. And they have these great endings. Just, this lady makes some of the best endings. It's just like, I want more, I need more. And I don't know when the third one is coming out, but I need it already. I think that this is set on the kind of more younger side of YA, but it's still so, so good. It has like the best slow burn romance ever. And the kind of messed up sibling relationship. It's just so great. And the plot twist on this one, so good. I loved it so much. But basically in Crown of Feathers, we follow these two sisters, Veronica and Val. We mainly follow Veronica, and their dream is basically to grab one of these Phoenix eggs and become Phoenix Riders, because now they are actually being held down by this kind of new empire that is conquering the land. At the same time, we're going to follow Seb. He is an animage. He can, I think that he can kind of control and communicate with animals. He is captured by the army of this empire, and he is forced to work with them and to keep his secrets safe, basically. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that because so many things happen in the first pages of this book. Also, I will include that it has the trope of a girl pretending to be a guy. It's just, this one is so good. So good. And it's going to rip your heart. There's one scene at the beginning. My God, I almost cried. So close to crying. Then you have a YA kind of horror mystery type of book. I've talked about this one a couple of times already, but I love it so much. I think the more I think about it, the more I like it. And I gave it 4.5, but in my mind now it's a 5 stars. I love this one when I read it. I read it in one day. I couldn't stop. I listened to it as an audiobook because it has mixed media elements. Some of the parts are told kind of in an interview form. Some of them are narrated. Some of them are text messages. Has a little bit of everything. I enjoy the hell out of this book. It's just so well done. I'm kind of sad that it's YA because it didn't went as far as I wanted it to go, but it's so, so good. So in this one we follow Becca, and her sister went missing a year ago looking for this kind of legend that this town has called Lucy Gallows. She ventured into the woods and she never come back. And the same happened with Sarah, Becca's sister. So just on the day of the anniversary, Becca and all of her friends received this text message saying them that if they want to see Sarah again, they have to go into the woods and just wait there. They actually go and they find this kind of really creepy magical road that leads them to this kind of world of nightmares, and they have to go through this test. It's so cool. There's one that is super, super creepy, and I was reading and I was like, damn, it's so disgusting. But yeah, I love this one. I would highly recommend this one, especially for fall. It's just so, so good. Then you have one of my favorite series. Why are Spanish covers like super glossy? I don't understand. But this is one of my favorite series of all time. This is The Queen of the Tearling by Erika Johansen. I love this one. I know that the ending is kind of controversial. I didn't love it either, but I love so much book 1 and 2 that I don't care. I don't care. It broke my heart a little bit, but I still have so many good memories for this series, especially book 1. Book 1 is so good. And Kelsey, the main character, is such a good main character. Oh, I love it so much. She could be just like this great main character that YA should have. She's great. She's fantastic. And she has such a good development over the series. It's great. So basically, Kelsey is the only heir to this throne. Once her mother died, she was sent away to be raised by this couple, really far away from the castle. And the regent right now is her uncle, which is kind of a fucking dumbass, and he's basically the puppet of the Red Queen, which is kind of this witch type of queen that is kind of really scary. The first book, Really, she's really weird. But once she turns 19, the guard basically finds her and takes her back to the castle. So she can actually rule, and she's such a good ruler. She's such a good ruler. I'm dying to get the US editions of the Queen of Tearling because they are so beautiful. Then I have this one. I think that this is not as well known as the rest of this because in this one I kind of had like the most popular way ones. This is Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castell, and this is such a fun, lighthearted fantasy read. It's just so good. So in this one, magic is kind of everywhere, but we follow Kellen. His magic is actually completely gone, but now he actually has to face these 4 kind of tests slash duels so he can become a Spellslinger like the rest of the family thinks he's going to turn. But yeah, things are not going as planned, so he's going to have to take another path. That is basically deceit, illusion, and it's just so cool. The other character that you see down here, she's fantastic, and I don't know, this kind of also has like a kind of Western tone to it. It's just so cool. It's super fun. There are animal companions that are super adorable, so I will highly recommend that you check out this one. This one is for everyone. It's just so good. And you might actually recognize Sebastian de Castell from the Traders Blade, maybe? The Greycoats saga? Yeah. Okay, let me just add this kind of cheesy book to the list because it's just so cheesy but so fun. This is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Camera. Really, I wasn't really going to read this book. But then everyone kept saying that it was actually really good. It piqued my interest because it's actually Beauty and the Beast retelling, but in this case, the beauty comes from our world and is transported to this kind of magical world. I was so surprised by this one. I finished it and immediately bought the sequel. The 3rd one is coming out next January, I think. But it was so fun. It's a really kind of light-hearted read, but at the same time it has some dark topics. But it was so great. The main character in here, Harper, is just one of the best main characters in YA that you're ever going to find. She's fucking great. She also has a disability, but it's not something that really defines her. It's just something that she has to deal with in some situations, and that was just so refreshing. If you want to have a good time, I highly recommend this one. It's just so much fun. Incredible. Then let's just add some dystopian to the mix. This is Scythe by Neil Schusterman. Again, this is the Spanish edition and that's why it glows. I don't know. I'm in love with this series. I didn't completely adore the 3rd one either. But the 2nd one, Thunderhead, in Spanish I think it's called Nimbo, is one of my favorite books of all time. It's just so damn good. So damn good. But let's talk about Scythe. We're basically set some years in the future and people no longer die. Basically, eternity is a thing, but because of overpopulation, we have this thing called Scythes. And they basically kill people at random. They have to kind of complete this list to keep the population at bay. But yeah, we're going to follow 2 apprentices trying to become Scythes. And it's just so damn good. This doesn't have like a strong focus on the characters. I wouldn't say. It focuses more on the world and I love it. The world is so complex. We also followed an AI that is just great. It has like a more prominent role on the next books, but still, this series is fantastic. I will highly recommend this one to anyone. Even my mom has read this one and loved it. And this 2nd book has one of the biggest cliffhangers ever and also one of the saddest endings. So damn good. So good. But yeah, I would highly recommend that Scythe to everyone. It's just really such a good read. Everyone should read Scythe. Scythe is great. Then we have here The Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kawa. And this is like anime but written. Basically, it's in the format of a book and it's just so damn fun. Again, the thing with YA is that sometimes they don't take themselves really seriously, and that's great because this is the thing with this one. We basically follow 2 different characters in here. One of them is Yumeko. She's half kitsune, meaning half fox, and she lives in this monastery with these monks, and they basically protect this piece of this scroll. Oh, my voice. And these pieces, when assembled, they basically can grant any wish you want. One day, the monastery is attacked and Yumeko has to flee with the part of the scroll. And then, at the same time, we're going to follow... What was his name? At the same time, we follow Kage. He's kind of this mysterious, really dark samurai figure. He's just so cool. And he has a sword that can trap souls, and he kind of talks, and it's really dangerous. Basically, their paths collide, and they are forced to protect the scroll. It's just... This is super fun. This has so many elements of anime thrown into it. It's just so cool. I read it in 2 sittings. It's quite short actually, and it's super enjoyable. I don't really know anyone who doesn't like this one. It's just pure fun, pure enjoyable read. And sometimes you need that. Read. And the last book that I want to talk about today is not actually this one, but it's a prequel series. This is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson, but I really want to talk about the Revenant Chronicles, basically, by the same author. I love this series. Again, I wasn't expecting much from it, but because the synopsis kind of sounded really cheesy, it's basically about this princess. She kind of flees the castle on the day that she's supposed to get married because she just wants a normal life. She just flees with her maid, and they're just having like a lovely time in this kind of really small village. The kind of curious thing about it is that we are going to follow 2 different perspectives apart from her. One is the prince that was supposed to marry her, and the one is an assassin that is supposedly going to kill her. But we don't know who is who, and that is just such a cool concept. I've been kind of waiting for this series to be translated because I really want to gift it to my best friend. But it seems that it's not going to happen, but I'm still just like waiting. But it's just so cool. It really sounds cheesy, but the first book is not a representative for where the series goes, because the 3rd book has one of the greatest battles ever. And it's just so damn nice. The 2nd one deals with many things and many unexplored things of the world. It's just so cool, and also has like a super cool lore. It's just great. It's just so great. But yeah, I love this one. I wasn't expecting it because it's kind of leaning more towards romance than fantasy, but it's just so damn good. It's just, I was so invested on everything. Amazing. But yeah, those are basically all the 10 books that I have for you today. As I've told you, I'm going to upload a part 2 of this with another kind of 10, maybe 15, maybe. That's going to be all for today. Please, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit the like button, and I basically will see you in the next one. Who would have thought that I would be making a YA recommendations video? Why?